This is the Vintage Revo Surfmaster Quad. Why is it called the Quad? Because it has 4 pickups, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Normally, I hate switches on a guitar, I always forget what they do. On this one, it's simple. They're just on-off switches, so you can have any combination of these 4 pickups. What I will say is, some of them are in phase, some of them are out of phase, so you can get some quite interesting sounds. You can have, obviously, all on or all off. But there's about 70 combinations when you bring in this switch. This is an ATN5 Variator switch, which means it's got 5 positions. On the first one, where it's turned all the way clockwise, well, I just call it neck position. It's like your normal guitar, so you've got your volume and tone. But it's got these other 4 positions, which do sort of rock, jazz. Well, that's what the instructions say. I just find they get sort of slightly darker. There's differences to the mid-range frequency with each one. But with this, so this has 5 different sounds. And this, there's, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5, which is 80 positions. But you've got to subtract the ones where there's no sound, where everything's off, which is quite a few. You know, there's like 70 configurations of sounds. So this is the sort of guitar you want to take. If you go to the studio, you take your main guitar and you take this, you go, right, how do we get another sound? Well, this will probably do it. I'm going to play a few sounds with this before we look at other bits, but it's got some interesting. I'm just going to do neck pickup on clean because, well, it seems like that makes sense. I'm going to do the bridge on its own because you've got the complete opposite end of the spectrum then. Again on clean, just so you have an idea. I'm just going to show you a couple of the other positions. So when the switches are up, they're all off. So we're going to listen to neck and first middle. Now these 2 pickups, they've got the same resistance. I think it's about 6.5k, and these 2 have a higher resistance, so they're hotter, so about 7.5k. So we'll listen to these. But then if we go the 2 middle pickups, so that to me sounds out of phase because it's a lot quieter. And the rear 2, I can't remember because I went through this last night. Front and back. Now I'm going to do the same thing and just roll through a few of these positions. In my opinion, it just gets sort of darker as you crank it round. So that's just volume, tone. I'm not going to show you how volume and tone work because you should know. Anyway, position, I'm going to call it position 2 on this switch. Let me do it in order so you've got a reference. So I'm going to start with nothing engaged, effectively off all the way around. So the second one along sounds a little bit like a cocktail. You just got some cool sounds. You've got all these different variations. I suppose that's why this is called like the Variator. Clever name. These pickups are the ETS3 Astrosonics. They're designed by Alan Entwistle. I tested the resistance of these on a multimeter. The front two have a resistance of about 6.2k and the rear two 7.2k. This is a really nice weight. When I picked it off the wall, I was actually like, I really like this guitar. Weirdly, this is not the sort of thing I would ever go for, ever. But this I find non-offensive for something that is not. I like the idea of having each other guitar in the studio for making a load of sounds. We're in the studio at the moment, and this sort of thing is quite handy. You're like, oh, we need something to make this track sound a bit different, or another guitar or a bridge part. Well, just rock. I suppose this guitar could do everything, but I would use it as a secondary guitar. It's nice and light. It's got an F-hole, semi-hollow body, binding on both sides. They do it in black, they do it in white, they do it in red. A couple of other things that I think are a bit interesting about this. It's Gibson scale length. So it's 24 3/4 inch scale length. Let me just check the notes. Yeah, 24 3/4 inch scale length. So it's like a Gibson. Also, it's got this roller bridge. I mean, it's got this tremolo, a bit like a Jazzmaster. But it's got this roller bridge, which means the action, I'm going to say, this is the wrong wording, not the action's high, but the strings are higher off the body, which means it's like a Gibson. In fact, it's got a neck angle. So the neck bends backwards, so it wraps around you a bit. And as a lover of Gibsons, I find that incredibly comfortable. Also, weirdly doesn't feel, you know how the strings feel slacker on a Gibson because the scale length's shorter? It doesn't feel like that on this. I don't know why. I think, I don't know, it just doesn't. From the top down, we've got some Wilkinson EZ lock tuners. We've got a Tusk nut. The neck is bound on both sides. The frets are really nicely done. I mean, that's the same with all vintage guitars. Skunk stripe, very sexy. It's got block inlays and 22 medium jumbo frets. The fretboard is Jatoba. I think that's how you say it. Looks nice. It looks like rosewood, to be honest. Well, it's kind of got the, I don't know. Yeah, it's a lot like rosewood. It's got the pores. There's no string trees. These tuners have staggered posts, so you don't need it. The first three are slightly higher. The second three are slightly lower, so it's more angled. The body is Okoume. I think that's how you say it. And like I said, it has a roller bridge, so nothing's going to snag. And it's got this vintage vibrato. I'm terrible at the vibrato, so I'm not going to demonstrate that. Really, really nice guitar. Like I said, I don't like this kind of thing normally, but this one, I saw this at NAMM, I think. And when I'm getting a bit tired of having, boring guitars. And when you record stuff, you want a sound that you can't get from something else. And this is definitely that guitar. You go, okay, right. In fact, I find this on quite a lot of Alan Entwistle, sort of when he's involved in things and the wiring. It just does something. In fact, the vintage guys do it a lot. It just does something more than all your other guitars. So it's kind of nice to have one. I always see it as my favourite guitar is a pink Telecaster, which is a complete accident, but it's fantastic. But you want something that's a little bit more exciting as your second guitar. And this is brilliant. This is perfect for the studio. All live. Really nicely done. There's no faults on it. Like, the neck joint's nice and tight. It's absolutely fantastic. So adjust the bridge with a bit of overdrive. Ooh. It's a lot like a P90. Sorry, I was really impressed with that. Anyway, all four pickups on and a bit more drive than I was doing earlier, because why not? I like this, and I'm going to put a video here for the other one of these, which if you've only just seen this video, it's only just come out, this one's going to be released first, so the video might not be there. But come back in a week and there's a video on the other one, which I really like. I saw it at NAMM, sent a picture to my mate. It's just a neck through. Oh, it's really cool. And yeah, I got hit in the eye by a bit of wood. That's why I've got a completely bloody eye. Really hurt. Thanks for asking.